Okay. It's 6:04. We're going to call meeting, city council call meeting, March 17th at 6 p.m. in Lake, Texas. Ms. Murdoch, would you do a roll call?
Mayor Jane Cobb,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rodney Guthrie,
Here.
Dennis Perkins Jr.,
Here.
Greg Richards,
Here.
Frank Jackson,
Here.
Bruce Utley.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Okay. Looks like we're going to have citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments?
John Grabowski.
Mr.
Ms.
Mayor,
Grabowski.
I'm again going to address item F on the agenda, where I'll reiterate what I said. The only reason that you're doing this is for your hatred for the mayor. If there were anybody else sitting there, you wouldn't be doing it. I hope that you have the courtesy to discuss it after he reads the agenda item, before Rodney makes a motion to pass it, Greg seconds it. The citizens have a right to know why you're doing this.
Thank you, Ms. John. Who else? Ms.
Pete Hinojosa. Did you want to speak?
No. No,
Okay.
I've signed up in the wrong deal, I apologize.
Which one did you want to sign up on?
Actually, that I attended the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy House.
Mr. Hobbs,
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Councilman, I'd like to remain here.
you may.
I'm gonna make you mad. I don't really mean to, but I'm probably gonna make you mad, but I'm gonna refresh these council members' memory. Some of them have been on it, some of them hadn't. You're looking at spending, what, $100,000 plus? Help Ms. Murdoch,
Yes, sir.
$100,000 plus on equipment for the streets and the water department. We have bought all kinds of equipment for the city over the period of time. Paving machine, a grade all, a paving machine like the county's got, and it all disappeared, wasn't any good, wouldn't work, wasn't maintained. They got equipment now, and I can't even get them to use the equipment they got now. I have a chug hole in the street on South Ward, in the middle of the street, this big around. I've asked for 2 months to get it filled, and I cannot get anybody to bring him a shovel of asphalt down there to fill that chug hole. I go to Ms. Murdoch, well, that belongs to somebody else. I go to Dean, they won't let me have any money to buy asphalt. I can't buy any asphalt. You got a problem, big time, bad in this city of Italy. You got $56,000 plus in the bank right now, today, that can't be used for anything but streets. I came up with a whole plan last summer, met with the mayor, met with Dean, met with Terry to do some streets. They spent a third of the money that they had and put it back up and did nothing else. Not a street in town was paved. Not one street was paved by the county. I had the county agree to do it, the price, and so forth. I don't know whose problem it is, but that sign up there says biggest little town in Texas. Right now, it's the chug hole city of Texas, it's the dirty city of Texas, and it's the laughing stock of Texas. I am sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of y'all fighting. Y'all got this whole agenda here. You're governed by the state of Texas and the state laws of what you can do and what you can't do. You can do anything you want to. You can pass all kinds of resolutions, but state law supersedes it. Your lawyer has told you that. Dean does not have a boss. Today, no one is capable of telling Dean what to do. In turn, the chief of police does not have a boss. No one can tell him what to do. Terry does not have a boss. Y'all want to say the council is the boss. You meet one night a month for an hour to 2 hours. That is the only time that you have any authority in the city of Italy, Texas. It's when you're sitting right up there, not when you go out that door. One council member has no more authority than I do as a citizen. You do it as a group and a group only. So you cannot physically or legally supervise the city employees to do what needs to be done. You have gutted the mayor from any authority that he has. I'm not gonna go to that. I'm not putting blame on any of that. I'm just saying this, y'all gotta do something for this city. You don't go spend $100,000 for equipment that's gonna sit down there in the shed when a backhoe sits down there and I can't get a ditch cleaned out or a hole patched. I've asked Terry, I don't know whether she's done it yet or not, to contact Atmos. They have a contractor. When Atmos comes in and digs a hole, they have a contractor that comes in and patches that hole, and it stays. You can bring them in for a week and patch the holes, and they'll probably stay. The folks, y'all need to get away from this council and get out and look. Citizens Bank, you can't hardly get to it. First State Bank, you can't hardly get to it. Elementary is ungodly trying to travel up that street. And that's not counting South Ward and College. You cannot pass a car on either one of those two without stopping, because you'll hit a chug hole that big, that deep on the side of the road. And nobody will fix them. I don't know what the problem is. But you do not need to spend $100,000 on more equipment right now. You got a new council coming on in 2 months. Why tie their hands with $100,000 worth of debts? Let the new council come in, come up with a plan to do these streets. Quit nitpicking and quit griping and sit down with a plan. Get with your county commissioner. Y'all know, I know, it's the cheapest way the city of Ely can go. Is get him to do the paving. And you go out and get a pothole machine, you ain't even got a dump truck that'll work behind it, if that's what you're looking at. You got a twin screw dump truck down there that's one of them, I don't know what, I'm just asking y'all to do something. I appreciate your time. If I hurt your feelings or made you mad, I apologize. But y'all need to quit the nitpicking. Don't spend the money right now and come up with some kind of plan to do something. We should have already been meeting with the commissioner. All the other cities are meeting with him. They've already met with them and setting up interlocal agreements for them to do the streets in their cities. We could be doing the same thing, but no, one person's met with him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hawes, and I'd like to address a couple of those items that you were talking about. The roads, you did come with a plan. Ms. Murdoch, how come we didn't go with that plan?
Because of depleting the street sales tax money completely.
Depleting it completely? And back then, there was about, $43,000?
About that.
And what did Precinct 3 charge us to do Ward Street?
I think it was around 9,000.
9,000?
It was less than $10,000.
Judge, can I ask why we didn't do some more streets?
That was gonna be my next question. Dean, why come we didn't do more streets, do you know?
Yes, sir, I do.
What was it,
We talked to the county commissioner.
that didn't include me.
At one point in time, me and you did.
I've never met with,
You did meet with me on Ward Street and Travis Street.
It wasn't the commissioner, it was his.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
his
And
representative.
what we were told was, from this point on, anything else that we needed to do had to be in writing and put in front of the commissioner's court, and then they would determine how much it would be. It was a little bit more than what we anticipated. We appreciate the county, we appreciate them helping us, but, they can't do it for free anymore. And that's what it all boiled down to. So we do what we can with what we have and back up and pump.
You left $30-something thousand laying on the table so the streets could deteriorate instead of spending it. That does not make any kind of sense for this city.
No, it doesn't, and I did not know that, or comprehend that at the time, that we still had another $30,000 to work with. And why did we stop buying asphalt? Because we're trying to save money for equipment?
No, we stopped buying asphalt. We still got a load coming.
I've been told we've had a load coming for
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah,
Well, it's been cold for the last how many months? We can buy, put it out there, but
well, it's difficult for me to get involved whenever I'm going under these other issues. Okay, you got anything else, Mr. Hiles, that you can contribute to the
No, it's just,
Oakland City?
we have gotta do something, and it's gotta take the group of the council. It takes one man and Dean, one man and Terry to go meet with Paul Perry. The gentleman that y'all dealt with last year is no longer employed, is my understanding.
Correct.
Go meet with Paul Perry, submit the streets, let him look at it, and let him give a bid. He is cheaper than anybody that you can use, even what they charge.
And I even, went for last week is to look into some, we've got the backhoe and labor. We can get a dump truck that's got a heater on it, that keeps the stuff hot, and we can keep it all day long for $450 and fill a lot of these potholes. That's what I found out last week, so.
I tried to get Dean to go rent a Packard last summer. Rent it for a month and put out the asphalt. You can't put it out with a backhoe. It does not work.
Well, that just goes back to what you said, I have to rely on Dean, what he tells me, and I don't get the information from Dean. You're right, I don't have the knowledge to run Public Works. Anything else, Mr. Allen?
No, thank you.
Okay,
Can the council say something?
there's citizens' comments, I guess you can if you'd like, I don't
Yeah,
care.
'cause I'm a citizen too.
Did you sign up?
Yeah, I signed up.
All right, go ahead, Frank.
First of all, you know, I understand where Jimmy's coming from about the streets and stuff. But a lot of times, you know, Jimmy, you say you met with them, but you didn't meet with the council. And I mean, look, I'm all for getting everything straightened out and fixed, but everybody has to work together. I mean, I heard somebody say, well, you hate the mayor. There ain't no hatred for the mayor. I go to the mayor's place and buy stuff all the time. There's no hatred for the mayor.
But what I
You know.
said, Frankie, I met with Paul Perry's man,
I
and then
understand what
I
you're saying.
asked for a meeting with the mayor and with Dean and with Terry.
Mm.
They're the ones, that, you know, that's who I thought the council,
Well, they bring it before the council.
well, but it was brought before the council.
What I'm saying is, you know, yeah, we need the streets fixed. They come up with a plan, they went and you know yourself, you drive down South Ward yourself all the time. They did, you know, I don't know, I guess it's part of South Ward, I don't go there, I guess. But the part I drive down South Ward, it's done, cause the commissioner did it, Paul Perry did it,
Well, drive down from Dilworth past Parker Street,
okay,
and better not meet a car,
okay,
because there's a major chug hole in front of Kenneth Crowell's.
yeah,
On one side, there's a major chug hole in front of the Methodist parsonage. On the other side, that the city didn't bother to fill back in when they fixed the water leaks. And there's a big hole in the center of the street that I have personally asked for over 2 months for it to be fixed.
Well, I understand it, but I know, excuse my little squeaky voice there, but I know for myself that they've been trying to finally come up with a plan to fix the streets and fix them correctly. Jimmy, you weren't here, but Dean did a presentation on those streets, on how we get those streets fixed, because we brought up about, the commissioners, county commissioner fixing South Ward Street. And they went down South, told people to drive down South Ward Street. And they drove down South Ward Street. And it was done real good. And that's what they wanted to do with the rest of the city, to do it with that kind of equipment, like the commissioners use. to make the streets better. Instead of putting the gravel in there for 1 or 2 days, then the rain washes it away.
Don't you remember, Frank, that we bought a machine
I
like that?
understand, we had 2 people working. We had Larry and Bruce, and they did not do it the way they supposed to been doing.
Brian used that machine and took care of it. Once he quit, it
Okay,
died.
you right, you
Yeah,
right.
I want
You right.
credit
I'm
where
not-
credit's
I'm-
due.
Okay, I'm just fine, I remember when they did that, but, they sold that machine.
Yeah, for about half of what we got for it.
Yeah, I know. You go ahead.
Troy, first of all, I know the county is the one that you work for, but the reason Ward Street looks as good as it does is because you're the one that put the effort in it.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it. Secondly, we dig holes that are 6 foot deep, sometimes deeper than that. There's a 16-foot hole over on Wood Street. All it has to be packed back right. We don't have a whacker packer, we don't have nothing to put it back properly. Then you go across the elementary, the road's not even a ½ inch thick. You put a patch on it and another hole shows up right next to it. The patch lasts, it's good, it's gonna last for a while, but another one comes up. If you don't start milling this up and getting it graded the way it should be and packed back down the way it should be,
If you shot that street and sealed it last year, it wouldn't be that way. Now, I've had 25 years' experience with the streets in Italy, Texas,
that I don't disagree. I mean, yeah, you have.
and
I've had 20-something odd years
Yeah.
on the streets too, so, all I know is, the machine that the county uses works great if the holes are small enough and there's still something for it to grip to. But if you're trying to, mend something that is only a ½ inch thick, it's not gonna work.
you can't mill a hole that's 3 foot in diameter, 6 or 8 inches deep. That has to be filled and packed.
I agree 100%.
And that machine you're talking about will not do it. And
Any citizens' comments?
I said it's not on the agenda.
Citizen comments is,
Yeah, but that's what, you're supposed to be discussing, it's not on the agenda.
well, we're still in citizens' comments, Councilman. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I think I'm wasting my breath. And
Herein lies part of the problem. Part of the problem, from Dilworth on out, we shot that road less than 2 years ago. Brand spanking new road. The pipes underneath the ground, the week after we shot it, the city's in the middle of it digging it right back up. Because they have screwed up pipes up underneath there that are old as Methuselah, and they create huge problems. So we can spend, y'all can hire us to come in there and shoot a brand new road, and a week later, have a main break, they're in the middle of it digging right back up.
Sure.
There, from that point on, the city has to own something, or hire the county to come back and patch that spot. Because if they just leave it like it is, and don't put anything on top of it, you don't have nothing but mud.
You hire a private contractor with the equipment to come in and do it, instead of buying it and setting it up there. People that do that, that's their jobs. Private contractor, gas company uses them all the time. And the gas company cut the street down there 3 times
Right.
that you're talking about.
Right.
And they patched it, and it held up. He's exactly right. You've gotta patch it, but you've gotta patch it correctly.
Right.
And that's the purpose of attempting to try to buy this equipment, so we can do it, not just throw asphalt in a hole that's gonna dig right
But
back
you
out.
can't do it with a pothole machine, Rodney. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't spray that pothole machine in a 6 or 8 inch deep ditch. It just won't work.
That's not my understanding of what this equipment's gonna do. And once we get to this equipment portion of this agenda, then that's when our water superintendent can explain to us his theories on what he wants to do and how this equipment's gonna work.
Any other citizens' comments?
No, sir.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I just want to say that I forgot to ask you that I may have some more comments before item 4, if that's okay. I may and I may not.
Council member comments, is that what you're referring to?
Yes. right prior to number 4.
So you want to say something other after item F?
Yes. Possibly.
Okay. Okay, item number 3, regular session. Item B, discuss and consider necessary actions regarding the purchase of street and water equipment through government capital. All right,
We
Mr.
can-
Dean, would you like to,
We can discuss this and debate on it as much as you want to. The simple fact is, we can hire a contractor to come in. We have 2 main breaks on Dilworth. We paid them to fix it. 2 days later, we got 2 more leaks on Dallas Street. We paid them to fix it. Then we say, okay, maybe the county can come in and help us. They're gonna charge us a little to come in and fix it. With the pipes that we have in the ground right now, there's no way we can afford contractors to keep coming back and fixing what we have to dig up. If we don't have something that we can start maintaining what we are digging up, we're gonna be stuck in the same boat. We can always go back and put asphalt back in. It's better to be self-sufficient. It is. We can put money out on contractors all day long. And I have nothing against the county. The county are a good group of people. They are. But they've come to the conclusion that they can't keep doing stuff for free too. They gotta charge somebody. From this point on, tonight, in the morning, the next day, we're gonna dig up another street. You guarantee you. There's gonna be another pipe break somewhere. And we're gonna go in there, dig it up, dry it out, put base back in, pack it back in as best as we can. Depending on how deep it is, depending on what kind of whack packer that we use to actually pack it in solid. If we have to, then we'll lime it. But we gotta be self-sufficient. And I understand, Mr. Howell's concern. A lot of equipment has been sitting around, but there's a lot of things been going on. You got 5 guys, you got 3 of them that have over 200 hours of comp time. The water project has taken a lot of time. It's coming to an end to where we can have some freedom to work on other things. And that freedom's gonna be me working on the streets and trying to repair streets better.
It says purchase of street and water equipment. What water equipment are we purchasing?
The mini trackhoe will be used for sewer, water, and, well, mainly sewer and water, but we could use it on the streets as well. Instead of taking a backhoe that's got a 2-foot wide bucket and digging 4 foot wide just to get to a small line and tear up half of the street, a 6x6 area street, you can take this mini trackhoe and you can dig up a 2x2 and fix it. What we're doing is we're trying to keep from making a bigger mess than it already is.
True or not true, you can borrow South Ellis counties anytime you need it.
True. The only problem is there's been many times that they're using it, we can't. Jason and I get along great. He can walk in the shop, get whatever part he needs, he writes it down, which parts all day long.
Right.
Clint can call Jason in the middle of the night and say, man, can I go get it? Yes, but there's a lot of times that we can't. A lot of times. This is just to be more self-sufficient. And the council, you can hold me liable, personally liable for this equipment. If it is broke, if it is not taken care of, it'll be my responsibility. A lot of the older stuff that's put up, there's nothing I can do about it. It was already in shape it was before I got here. But this equipment will have books, it will have maintenance logs, and it will be maintained and taken care of. But we really need to be self-sufficient.
Is there any doubt in your mind after we dig up a hole, repair the line, pack it properly, that this equipment here cannot come in and fix the roads
No doubt in my
to where
mind.
it needs to be.
The reason I'm saying this is because I've done it in 2 other cities. I know it works.
Where does the money come from to pay it back?
Terry, you wanna say that one?
We collect around between $2,500 and $3,000 each month from the sales tax that was approved by the voters. That goes up every 4 years to revote, to be able to put the money into the streets that are currently here. We're gonna pay what we've set up, or what I've talked to Government Capital, and I'll address the council on this, is that Government Capital has agreed to loan the city $115,110, either on 5-year note or a 7-year note. 5-year note is 3.439% interest, with an annual payment of $25,439.07. On a 5-year note, $15,009.06 will come out of streets, and $10,430.01 will come from water department for the mini track hoe. If we go with the 7-year annual payments, the interest rate is 3.639%. The annual payment is $18,914.27. $11,159.42 would come from the street fund, and $7,754.85 would come from the water fund, which is under the $10,000 that was budgeted for equipment.
And then this equipment, based off of that sales tax, would fix just about every existing street that we have. We can use it.
Well, I wanna make one thing clear, because Jimmy's right on this part. This is a repair equipment. This is not a total street repair.
Right.
When we get to that point, we do need to go to the county.
Right.
What we wanna do is maintain what we've tore up. And there's a possibility, yes, we can kinda overlay Dilworth, you know, it just needs a little bit more tar, tack it, put rock down. Jimmy's also right, that truck is not set up for spreading rock. The only reason I haven't put that, rock spreader in here is because it's not that expensive. We're talking $2,000 or $3,000. It ties to the back of that dump truck, rock comes out, it spreads it out evenly.
You had one of those, what happened to it?
Sir, we had a broom too, where is it? I don't know where any of that is. That's what I've been told. I have no idea where any of this stuff is. None of it was here when I got here. There's an old broom that we tried to repair, that we pulled behind, and it was rusted up. There's nothing we could do with it.
Maintain, what's the life expectancy?
Well, we gotta make it past this payoff date.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm asking.
You know, a good Miller and a Bobcat or stitch gear will run 15, 20 years if you take care of it. Tap machine, tar machine, they're gonna only last around 10 years or so, because you're gonna burn the bottom out of them, especially if you don't get the liquid that's already heated up. Because if you take tar blocks, you drop it down in there, you put heat to it, and it heats it up.
What's the price on that machine?
11,000 something.
Dean, is that the, that thing?
Yes, sir.
$12,490,
So that's the 250, not the 150.
the $250.
Yeah, okay.
I believe that's $250.
We went with the 250 just in case we couldn't cut a deal with the county and use their tar. This way, if we have to do it ourselves and we buy the blocks, we drop it in there and heat it up.
Will that tar, will the block tar and our tar, will they both work in that machine?
Yes.
It won't mix.
No, it will mix.
Ours isn't blocked, ours is ready to go.
Yours is ready to go. It's already heated up. You gotta heat up the tar off of this one. Once it's heated, you can mix them.
It's the same exact,
No, y'all has a dilution to it. This is straight tar.
Bituminous?
Say it again?
Bituminous?
Water based, yeah.
yeah,
Water
but
based and tar.
that's what I'm saying. If ours is a certain type of chemical and y'all's is a different type of chemical, once you make those, like, let's say you get some blocks and patch with it, and you get some of ours and patch with it, it might screw that machine up.
There's two types of that tar block. And one is already liquefied. It's already diluted when you melt it down, and one's straight tar. You can buy both of those. It really depends on where you're at and what we're doing. If we need to, we spray, if we use yaws, we spray it all out, clean it up, and then drop tar into it.
I got a question, I'm sorry, I don't mean
That's
to, but what's the I'm just, you gotta fill me in on this one. So the difference between these two,
Mm-hmm.
why couldn't you buy the same type of tar as he's using and just eliminate that problem?
Well, we would like to. What we would do is go to their site and fill up. If we have to do it, then we have to keep a tanker on hand and keep it heated. So
That's how the last one got ruined.
that's how the last one got ruined.
Cause
So what we-
it has water in it. Once you cook that water out of it, you
Boils
just
it.
screwed up.
So if you
So
take,
if you don't
buy-
use it fast enough, it ruins.
So if you buy a pallet of, you can get it liquid form, it's already diluted, or regular tar. And you drop in there and say, we're gonna do 4 potholes today. We know about how much tar it's gonna use, drop those in there. Use it up, spray it out, clean everything up, diesel it up, so it'll spray tomorrow. So either way, we can go with block tar in a liquid form, which is diluted, or regular tar, or we could go with the county. I'd love to be able to back up to the county and just fill up.
Well, it just seems like it would make more sense to, I mean, cause there's obviously a discrepancy as far as the material. But if you keep if you kinda keep it all the same, it would make it easier on both of you, wouldn't it?
Well,
it
we'd
wouldn't-
never add our stuff to them.
No, but I'm talking about as far as purchasing the same chemical, so where they left off and you picked up, it wouldn't hurt, would it?
It really and truly, it goes back to the same thing that Jimmy and Terry and I have talked about in the past.
Mm-hmm.
What does the commissioners wanna do now? How much do they wanna charge us now?
Right.
It may be cheaper for us to go ahead and buy the block tar, put it in there and be done with it. We still got an issue of the rock, you know, the gray rock that's being, chip sealed right now.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't get it from the county, we still gotta make a deal with the state. As of right now, the rock's fairly easy to get to, I'm not really worried about that.
Would it hurt to wait 1 month and get these questions answered before we spend $100 and whatever thousand of my money?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I appreciate the council letting people talk and letting questions be asked and answered, and because it's important.
That's my,
Very,
that's my
very
intent,
important.
that's my intent, is to let the citizens talk. So, because these people up here, myself, we don't have the knowledge. You've got a lot more knowledge than I do about these roads, and you got just a lot of knowledge that Dean's got. We need to come together and join forces here.
Now, I mean, there are variables, there's a lot of different variables, and it's a lot of money. But I would very much start there. I'd say, hey, go talk to Paul Perry. See what he would be willing to do. He has a new foreman now, the foreman that Dean talked to is no longer there.
Who is the new foreman over there, Troy?
His name is Ron Thomas,
And who was the old one?
Wayne Ballard,
Wayne, okay.
Ron what?
Ron Thomas. You know, but he's just the foreman. So, I mean, Paul's gonna have to make the decision, or, you know, somebody's gonna have to make the decision on whether that's even, an option or not. You know, at one time, we did have an interlocal agreement on a lot of stuff in Italy, but from what I've gathered, things have changed. So, you know,
And
we're
we
just
We
citizens.
still have an interlocal
We just
agreement.
passed an interlocal agreement a month or two ago with the county.
I just don't think it would hurt to wait a month and give us more information and y'all more information. I don't think 30 days is gonna make a big difference in 100 and whatever thousand. I just wish y'all would wait and get more information before we go into debt.
I concur with that. Yes, Councilman? Yes.
On that, city sale, street tax, if that's what you're saying, make the payments with on this,
Yes, sir.
Portion of it.
a portion of it.
Portion, yes.
Don't we have to re-vote for that and
next year.
next year. So what happens if it don't pass, then the city's stuck with the extra
Bingo.
revenue?
They would come out of the general fund.
See right here.
But that's a, was it point, what percent, 0.25?
Yes.
And that's 0.25 of sales tax that this community does participate and give to, but a lot of travelers participate and give to that sales tax also.
I understand that we may need that, but I'm
Sure.
asking you to wait 30 days and get more information from Paul Perry, from the makers of the machines, from whatever. I just think we need to wait. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'd like to have as a citizen, because I'm the one gonna help pay that back, I'd like to know more.
And we are too,
Yeah.
every one of us.
Yeah,
too,
that's
yeah.
why I'm asking, wait 30, until the next meeting and give more info.
And
And
then,
I'm glad that we're sitting here talking about this, because now, if they elect to postpone, which that's what I concur with, is let's get this representative standing right here,
Yes,
so that he can answer Troy's questions and Dean's questions about how, because I'm saying Troy, precinct 3, they're here to work with us, to help us. There's more than just Troy, he's not a one-man band.
Way more than just me.
and I got one more thing. On the, there's also the part too, on the repair of the streets, y'all still have, where y'all gonna be replacing some lines anyway. Is that correct, from what I've gathered from the last meeting? Something about they were gonna replace some water lines before, they were gonna invest, or put any more money into these streets. They were gonna make the water repairs, the lines first, and then make the repairs.
You're talking about the grant,
Right.
William and Hardeman. There'll be some, no worse than it already is, but, that line will be put in the ditch or easement, so it won't even be in the street.
It won't be in the street at the time anymore. And then, but they're still gonna have equipment that's gonna be running back and forth on Harris Street. You know, they've gotta get it in, they've gotta get it out, they're gonna have to cross the road, they're gonna be digging, they're gonna be doing whatever. So they're gonna be on that road regardless. You know, if we go and spend $30,000 redoing that road,
Yeah.
it's,
You absolutely
just
don't
wasting-
wanna do
you're
that.
wasting
your
until
money.
You get that pipe fixed, yeah.
And something they're talking about, laying these lines over there on Harris, Hardeman, and Williams, like I said, they're actually putting them in the easement and getting them out from under the road. As we go through future grants on doing this, we need to do that. That way, when we do repave College Street, I'm like, yeah, I mean, 3 days later, they were, all I saw was water coming down the street.
You still got lines in the street,
Sure.
because you got service lines, and that's where normally your leaks are.
Right.
If you recall, the line down South Ward is new.
Mhm.
And I say new in the past 10 years, which is new.
Mhm.
And they've still had to dig it up for the service lines.
Sure.
Because, and you're still gonna have that, I don't care what you do. And then the gas company's gonna come right back behind you, because they haven't replaced their lines.
Sure.
Is the gas under the road?
You don't know where it is, they don't know where half of it is. And I make jest, but they don't.
The
They
gas.
sit up there down here and they don't know where it is.
Well, our goal, my goal as a councilman, like I said, a majority of the complaints that we hear here are about the streets. And we're not the only city, guys. You can drive in Waxahachie, drive down West Marvin and see what that thing looks like. It looks like a roller coaster. So we're not the only city in this county or in this state that has this problem.
Right.
But the issue is when we do have to dig up the line, what is you dig up a hole this big and then you fill it full of asphalt, it's gonna crumble and come back up. With this particular, my understanding from Dean and talking with him about this machinery, you can come back in, grind up and dig up a bigger area, pack it, and then re-chip seal it, and it's gonna hold.
What are you gonna dig it up with?
Which part? The
Start
water
with
line or
grinder.
the,
What kind of grinder?
what are we gonna grind it with?
Yeah.
Mill it.
What kind of millet?
It's a 24 by 24, and it moves 4 foot. It's got a 4 foot radius. It can move up to 22 degrees on each side. It's a millet. All it is
It's
a,
in here.
Huh?
It's in this equipment
I
package.
don't think he has a copy of the
Oh.
equipment
There's
packet.
two back there on the desk that I
He's
posted,
still,
and I
he's
posted
still,
all of
okay,
it on the
yeah, you
webpage
put
as
two
well.
out there. Jimmy, did you get,
No, that's fine.
you're more than welcome to have some. Anybody wants a copy of what we've got as far as this equipment goes? And the financing packet?
This miller will be tied to a Bobcat. Jimmy.
Although I will add, packing is the key.
Yeah,
Once they dig it up, fix the lines, put material back in that hole, packing that material is key to what you
Well-
put on top of it.
Troy, I appreciate that. I haven't seen anything in this packet about any kind of,
Back to
whatever, what you
Whacker
call,
packer.
yeah.
is there one,
Is it,
is there one in here?
No,
Okay.
so this is not the completion of the.
neither is the, rock spreader.
No, what do you mean neither? I was asking a question, so this is not really complete for everything that you need to.
Well, actually, we weren't, that's the word I'm trying to say here. We were asked to put something together. We were asked with a certain amount. We had to stay within that budget. So this is the budget item that we got. Now, you know, if the budget got bigger, if that's what we want, then sure, we can add a lot of things to it. But we're trying to do it as cheap as possible. You can go buy a whacker packer, a hopper, whatever you wanna call it. You can put lime with it. You can do a lot of things to it. That's minimum, compared to this stuff.
What are we talking about as far as the purchase of that packer?
It's about, 2,700. That's brand new, with warranty.
That's not a loaded packer.
No, no, sir.
That's not a
That's
hand
a, that's
packer.
a, yes, sir.
Ground pounder,
What?
a ground pounder.
The reason why we don't use the rollers, because there's usually not a big enough hole to put the roller in.
Well, I'd like to see, if we're gonna, like I said, spend the money, I'd like to see
You want all of it in?
adding, yep,
Well, we're gonna need every key, you know, key piece. We're gonna need every key piece to do the job correctly.
sure. And if it's another $2,500 for a whacker packer in the big scheme of things, that's not a lot of money. It might as well be rolled into the lump sum.
And you might as well put the, rock spreader with it too,
And what are we looking at there?
around 4.5.
So another $6,000, six or 7,000?
Cause he's gonna have to have a way to spread that rock.
Oh,
Once
yeah.
he shoots the tar, he's gonna
Yeah.
have to have a way to spread that rock.
Just go ahead and just do what they would do.
You what, Frank?
That's, they can just go ahead and they don't, you know, I think the people think that we're up here trying to make it harder on the citizens. And we're trying to do what's best for the citizens, because we all traveled up and down these roads. So I said, they don't want that. We can always go back to the old way of just pounding, putting the asphalt in there and that's fine. I mean, nobody is trying to make it hard on the citizens. That's where a lot of this stuff is coming from, and it's not true. We're up here because we care. If we didn't care, we wouldn't be up here worrying about this stuff.
And see, that's not what I'm saying, but what I'm saying, I know there were a couple of pieces
I didn't say
missing,
you. I didn't say
and
you.
I'd rather it be
Shut up.
complete.
Don't tell me to
If,
shut up,
if
Frank.
we're gonna borrow money, I want to be able to fix it
I
right.
understand that. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, so it might be better to wait and let Dean come back with everything he needs and consider it then.
I don't have a problem. That's fine.
Okay.
Like I said,
That's fine.
it's just to be put on to discuss. Like I said, this is the first time it's been brought to us, so.
First of all, get with Paul and see what, everything that can work out, you know.
It says, consider necessary action.
I understand, and we could, if we agreed, we could vote on it.
Yes.
I mean, we want to give ourselves the options to do what we need to do. I mean, somebody can make a motion to table this thing just as easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you gotta remember, Karen, I can't tell you the exact numbers, but I can tell you it's close to $60,000 in asphalt since I've been here. And where is it?
No, I understand that, but if you need a couple of more pieces of equipment to do this right, I don't want you doing piecemeal.
No.
I would rather them wait a month, you give them everything you need to do it right, so we don't have streets like this anymore.
I did the bottom number, what we talked about, and I took the packer and the, rock spreader out of the water and street budget. The extra daily usage. That's how I was gonna actually get it. But if we wanna put it all in together, then that's great too. That saves the budget.
So you had it in another budget item?
Yes, sir.
So those two
What about-
pieces of equipment, how much are those two extra pieces? of equipment?
25 and 45? Yeah. So those were gonna come out of a daily operating budget. We
Well,
were just
those-
gonna cut back.
Those
Thank-
two could feasibly right now come out of the
That's what I'm
streets
saying.
department, streets
No?
fund,
Without having to finance them.
without having to finance.
That's what I'm saying. I was trying to get it to where,
And correct me if I'm wrong, we've got 10,000 sitting there for equipment?
And the, water department, that's what was budgeted for, equipment,
For our last budget,
yes.
yes.
and you gotta think, we put $18,000 in, asphalt that we're not gonna be using. We're gonna have to use, don't get me wrong, we gotta get some asphalt to build stuff back right. But we're not gonna be using $18,000 worth.
That's correct.
So that's plenty to get the box and the whacker packer. And that's what I was trying to do, is trying to keep them building this up more and more and more.
Okay.
I would also be interested in the third-party bid for repairing the streets also.
So,
The guys that Atmos uses, like Mr. Howes recommended,
sure,
I'd be interested to know what those prices were also.
Yeah,
sure,
Because we know like what, we can come up with an approximate square footage or whatever.
right.
How much would it cost you to come in one time a month, do X number of square feet, and walk out, and guarantee your work, for, you know,
Like
Yes.
Lindsay,
yeah,
Once a month, come in, you hire this company to come in, they're bringing a 12-yard block of asphalt of the, not the kind that you use, but the good kind.
It's still hot.
Yes, they come in, they lay it down, they pack it. They run down South Ward, they run down College. They get the big holes that you've dug. Now, some of these streets gotta be plowed up.
Mhm.
And if you use all this money, if you don't plow them up, you're wasting your time. The, Harris Street, that street's gotta be plowed up.
That's something we're gonna have to contract with the county again,
Yes.
when it's all said and
All
done.
said and done.
But
come back and do
it
it
needs to be
right.
done, started on right now, is what I'm saying, Rodney. It doesn't need to wait until 3-4 months from now.
Are you talking about a plan? Trying
I'm
to get a
talking
plan to
about-
action?
A plan and action. Somebody needs to go meeting with him so this thing can be submitted and get us on the list.
It's just something to think about, but, you know, yeah, master plan is very necessary, but one of the things that getting these streets fixed is one thing, and keeping them fixed is something else too, because if you've ever noticed, some of these freshly shot streets, when they go in there and they fix them all up real pretty and real nice, in the heat of the summer, June, July, when the tar is real sticky, and the trash truck runs through there in the middle of the day, when it's really hot, it's just peeling it up, and you can see it peeling it up all the way to the old surface. If there was any way that we could manage, time with the trash trucks, like, let's say, pick up the trash early in the morning before it gets real hot and damages the streets, that would be part of a plan too, how to keep them, in good shape. Not only get them in shape, but keeping them in good shape.
I addressed that in the meeting last time. You need to go put some pig gravel on them. Nothing else, take the shovels and go down there and throw pig gravel on the hot. That was addressed in the meeting and discussed.
Would this rock spreader help do that?
Yes. We just gotta be careful. I mean, if it's already got too much tar on it, we don't wanna add tar, we wanna add rock. There's a lot of variables here. We've been in College Street 3 places, and College Street's probably one of the best streets in town.
that's because we shot it less than 2 years ago.
So, what we need to do now is prepare to make sure we can shoot it again and keep it lasting longer.
Well, one of the main things, we don't want to shoot it with a substandard base,
Well,
where it's all gravel at the,
right. Well, they milled the whole road, and that's what, Mr. Howes is talking about. Whatever road that we're gonna completely redo does have to be milled. It needs to be remilled and packed back.
We hear a lot about the money for the equipment, but you know, that initial capital expense is only the beginning. There's a lot of maintenance,
Automate
a lot of storage of all the components that go with this equipment. I own a lot of equipment through our company, and it's a nightmare, keeping that stuff up. We try to just own the stuff that we just use every single day. If we're not using it every day, then we don't own it. We rent it, we bid those jobs out. So I just caution you, not to get too excited about buying too much stuff, really explore the third-party options. I think that even though they may add up during some months, not owning it through the winter months and not owning it through other times may turn out to be a real benefit.
The only problem with this is how long did it take us to get to 60,000?
We probably had 30 when we started, 2 years ago, or, well, we had 40 when we discussed a year ago, and we're at 60 now, so it's taken a year.
So,
And the year's only half over.
So, now, well, we've talked since, that's true. You're correct, we're at
You should
60,000
end
and
up-
we were at,
You should end up with roughly, 60,000 a year, 60 to 70,000 over a 12-month period.
no, there's no way. We don't get that kind of sales tax.
no, we're only getting 2,500 to 3,000, sometimes $3,500, a month.
Okay,
So if you add
3,500, that's, 36, that's 42,000, 42 to 45,000,
Yeah, that's more like it.
okay. The idea of what he's talking about is great, but it's not gonna solve the problem right now. The only thing that's gonna solve the problem right now is to go buy asphalt and a packer and pack in some of these major holes. That's the only thing that's gonna work.
When you get this equipment?
No.
No.
Anybody that works here better be able to do it all or go away. That's the way Italy works.
I'd like to say something about, you said about Atmos. You know, 2 years ago when my gas meter was run over and they were out there till, after midnight, and they patched the street that night where they had to dig up the street. The next day they came out and they were digging it up, and I thought, oh gosh, what's wrong now? There was a little bump in it when they patched it, and they didn't like it, so they came out just to dig that up, and it is flat as can be on the road there, and there's nothing that's ever come out of it since they patched it.
And I'll be honest with you, I personally done South Ward Street. And I took pride in doing that because I live here and I drive these roads every day. So I was excited when I got to do that. When my boss told me, hey, tear after, I was excited. And if you're gonna look, the patches that I put down are still there. They're still there. Okay, the main problem with that road is, A, drainage. We don't have any drainage. The water has nowhere to go. The center of the road is lower than the sides of the road.
That's not good.
Therefore, your water comes in and stays on the road. Has nowhere to go after it rains. Water is our worst enemy, and it's y'all's worst enemy when it comes to roads. It'll tear a road up just like that.
No, it'll have to be reground and reshaped and reshot.
But see, South Ward's got curbs all the way down.
Yeah.
Well, when they did that road, this was years and years ago, it just, like I said, I don't know if there wasn't the right base that was put in it, I don't know what ended up happening, but it didn't hold up. You know, we spent a lot of money to asphalt that road.
They had bricks in that road too.
Who did?
But you did do a good job on that road, 'cause I drove down
And it's
there.
not great
Well, I know,
by any means,
but
shape, or form.
I said you did a good job on it.
Well, I
What I'm
appreciate
saying, what I'm saying is, when you drive down South Ward, that's what I talked to them about. I said, look at South Ward, how those potholes are holding up, because they are done. Because, they had to go back and redo it.
But his potholes are 3 to 4 inches. They're not 18 inches, 12 inches.
Oh, you doing on South Ward?
Yes.
I'm just saying that they did a good job.
They did a good job. I read it. But the potholes that he fixed on South Ward,
Okay.
probably the thickest one was 3 to 4 inches.
Yeah, but I can wear an 18-inch out. I'm just telling you, we can do big potholes.
Yeah.
You can do
It's
it.
good. If they can do it, I mean, like I said, I give you props. They did a good job on South Ward. I have said that over and over. I like driving down South Ward. If you look at go at night, go at when it rains, out there it rain, it doesn't come up. I said, yeah, I told them, I said, look at this. And, you know, look how they did South Ward, you know.
And I wish I could've made it better, guys, I'll be honest with you. Cause
Well,
I
you did
still
a-
drive down it and it's still a little rough.
You did a good job.
You know, I tried to smooth it up the best I could with what I had.
You did a
But
good
without
job.
going in there and grinding that road up, when we ground up, College, we shot from 667 all the way down past Don and Jackie's
Yeah.
to 34.
Mhm.
We ground all that whole entire road up. Reshot it. If you'll go down it right now, it's less than 2 years old. And you can see where the base up underneath it has settled in and the road is, it's starting to crack in places. It will crack over time. Trash trucks are horrible. They run overweight all the time, and they could care less about our streets. That is a big factor.
Sure. And that's why we hold them to single axle.
We got to deal with the farmers, and I love farmers. Don't have a problem with any of them. But hey, our county roads are run by farmers, and they haul them daggum trucks and grain trucks and tractors and everything. And our signs say 24,000 pounds, 50,000 pounds. They run 80 and 100 all day long.
Mhm.
But if College Street is not reshot this year, next year it'll be gone.
Yeah, it'll
Plain and simple.
You're correct.
it'll get rough.
That's the biggest problem with most of our streets, and y'all that lives here know it, is, and Royce talked about it, is what's underneath.
Yeah.
If you don't get what's underneath right, then it don't matter how many times you pay it. it's
Yeah,
still
we
a
could
mess.
spend $4 million on these roads, and and that's, I would love to know some answers on that. I never hear talk about that, other than the first time I've heard it is what we're gonna do on Hardeman and Harris. We're gonna be redoing those pipes. I'm pretty sure it's expensive. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's cheap to do. I would imagine it costs, is the city gonna be doing that, Dean, or is we hiring somebody?
We got a grant, and it'll be part of the grant.
Okay, so the city's not even paying for it.
Well,
Okay, well, that,
we have that.
Well, we have a match, don't get me wrong, yeah. City has a match.
okay.
No grants are free.
But a company is coming in and they're gonna do it.
Yeah, it'll be contracted out.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Greg was just saying, underneath here is the problem. We have to figure out how to fix that. But you gotta do a happy medium. You gotta figure out how to fix that, and you gotta figure out how to fix on top right now, because it's tearing all our cars up.
Well, that was my biggest job when I worked for the state. I was a dirt man. I did the base and the, dirt, the line and stuff like that. And it was stuffed into my head 9 million times. If you don't get this right, nothing else is gonna be right. And if y'all remember 34, when they redid 34, it was one of the best roads ever. Look at it now. It's just like a roller coaster. It's because what's underneath of it didn't hold up. And I know the city, especially South Warren, I lived on South Warren too, so I know what you're talking about. With all the rock and brick and everything else on that road, it's gonna be hard to ever do that road right. And you can't go in there and dig it out because of water lines and everything else underneath it, so it's just something that the city's gonna be handling and fighting from now on until something's done to get the base from underneath right.
We'll say one other thing, Mr. Mayor, please,
Yes, sir.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
leave. For years and years, we shot every street in Italy. Every summer, we shot every street in Italy. We don't have the base, and we can talk the base, and we can talk the line, you can talk all you want to. If you don't seal the street, I don't care what you have under there, it's not gonna work. We cleaned the ditches, and we shot the street. One tank load of oil and the pig gravel, and the county shot it for us. We bought the oil and the pig gravel, and they shot it free, which they won't do anymore, I understand. But if you come up with a plan to do that, shoot the streets at least every other year. If you can't afford to do the whole thing, do them every other year and seal them. The water will go off of them, except for South Ward. That's another story, but the water will go off of them if you'll just seal the streets. And you can buy all this equipment and all this stuff, but if you don't seal the streets, it's not gonna work. I appreciate y'all's time. Thank you very much.
See you later, Jimmy.
Mr. Hogg, we appreciate your time.
Okay.
Any other discussion on,
No,
item B?
I would like to just say I appreciate y'all's time and listening and answering questions and so on and so forth. I appreciate it.
Well, Troy, that's what we're here for, is to, like I said a while ago, everybody work together. Not everybody in this room knows everything about everything, so it's gonna takes a group effort. Is there any more discussion on item B, discuss and consider necessary actions regarding the purchase of the street and water equipment through the government capital?
Have you taken some notes on some of the comments that's been, okay. I make a motion, we table B and C, check into a few of the subcontractors, let's get some numbers together and see if next month we can put it together, decide if we wanna put all of the equipment into the note, or like you said, if you've already got it in the budget to buy the packer and this rock spreader, I mean, that's fine, at least we know it's there. So it'll go in consign with this, what we've got here. That way we know we've got the equipment to do what we wanna do if we decide to go that direction. If we come up, that it's cheaper to contract it out, we just kinda get some ideas, I know nothing will be concrete, but we have some citizens that have some concerns, so let's get them answered. I make a motion, we table B and C.
I've got a motion to table B and C,
I'll second.
and second by Councilman Utley. All in favor? Got 5. Opposed? No, none opposed. All right. Item E, discuss and consider necessary actions regarding resolution number R, 2014-0310-02. A ma'am?
You missed D.
I'm sorry. Discuss and reconsider necessary actions regarding resolution R, 2014-0310-01, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Italy, Texas, establishing a citizens complaint feedback policy and improving the effective date, requested by Mayor James Hobbs pursuant to Section 52.003, Paragraph C, Texas Local Government Code. I want to discuss this a little bit. The resolution establishing a citizen complaint and feedback policy. I'm gonna read you this. Pursuant to Section 52.003, Paragraph C of the Texas Local Government Code, as mayor of the City of Italy, Texas, I do object to the resolution because it takes 100% of the mayor's powers away from the mayor and puts such power in the hands of those who should not have those powers. I requested at this time that this matter be reconsidered by City Council. Now, I called our city attorney, and that's our city attorney's opinion, that it says because it puts 100% of the mayor's powers away from the mayor and puts such powers in the hands of those who should not have those powers. It's coming from Ed Voss. He's pretty strong about that. So, in this discussion, it's pretty obvious what's trying to happen here. But 100% of the mayor's powers away from the mayor, and puts it in put such powers in the hands of those who should not have those powers.
Mayor, may I make a
Who
comment?
said this? Oh, yes, sir.
This is regarding this complaints, right,
Mhm.
against city employees or,
Yes.
I think the department heads should be able to manage their employees. I don't think the department heads should manage themselves as far as like complaints go. So if I had a complaint, for example, on Chief Hill, he shouldn't take that complaint. It should go up to you guys, right? Is that the way this is stating?
And that's what the policy reads.
Right. So, I mean, I think that's just common sense that this policy should be voted in. I mean.
Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with taking the mayor's
Right.
powers away. This is just a complaint. In my opinion, I've had people come with complaints and then, well, who sees or who hears the complaint? So
Right.
this is an actual form that a citizen can either pick up, get off the email, can be mailed if they need to. They can put their complaint in writing. If it's on an employee, it will be, a police department, so, it's totally different animal anyway. They have their own procedures as far as investigating complaints on police officers. So this was just to kind of give the other departments a avenue for the citizens to go to and say, hey, I've got a problem with this individual because of this. Okay, put it in writing, number one. It doesn't need to be just some, well, because I said so. It needs to be in writing and what these problems were. It can be given to the department heads, they can investigate it, take statements from the citizen, any witnesses, get the employee's version of what happened, and then come up with some type of concise idea of if there was a policy violation or if there wasn't. And then it goes back again, if the citizen's not happy with the final say of what the department head has to do with their employee, then they can come back and appeal that to the council for determination. And then we can review what was the investigation about? Who did you talk to? What was said? And then make a determination as far as, hopefully it will be handled on that level. And the citizen and the department head can come up with some type of resolution as far as what needs to happen or not happen. So that's all this complaint policy is. It's to give the citizens an avenue to make a complaint, but validate it. It's not just something, one thing I've always said, I as a council person shouldn't have you as a citizen come to me and say, hey, this person did this. Well, it's not for me to come in and do an investigation. It's for the department head to investigate what took place.
Correct.
And then, if it's on the department head, then that is handed over to the council.
So then at that point, the council becomes the judge of the situation?
Yes.
And see, this is what I concur with what Councilman Guthrie's talking about. We needed something. But the way it's written, if one of the department heads and somebody else are buddies, somebody complains, it goes to the department head, and then it goes away.
No, it doesn't.
Right, what the other one did, not this one. No, I'm sorry, yes, this one. Doesn't give the mayor an opportunity to look at it. It goes straight to the department heads, from the department heads, if they choose so, to come to council. I think more people need to know about it than just the department head.
And you're gonna be informed too, along with the council, as far as what the complaint is. It doesn't say.
Once a month,
once
if it goes that far.
If it's on a department head, it will have to go that far. There's no doubt about it.
Well,
Well, I'm
because I
talking
know
about
Mr. Droll said last time there was gonna be, what was it, 5 days or
Oh,
something?
no, that's what he said was in the.
It's in the policy that
Right, it's in the policy already.
within 5 days to get an update as far
Right,
as
so
what
you're
the
not
city.
gonna have 30 days to get an update. I
No,
mean,
no.
it's gonna be handled right then and there.
It's going, you will be informed within the 5, this is more set for a department head and an employee, a standard employee.
Right.
You will be informed within that 5 days of what's taking place.
It may not be a resolution.
Right, it may not be a resolution, but
But
hey,
they're
it's
still
been,
looking
it's been
into it.
handled and we're looking into it.
Right.
If it's on a department head, you know that we can't get something done probably within 5 days. But as long as your concerns are on paper within that time period, it's still got to be investigated.
Right.
And it will more than likely go through to a third-party investigator, because we, as the governing body, are the final say. So how can we do the investigation and then make the final say on what took place? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. No, I
So,
understand.
That's where, and in my opinion, a complaint on the department head would need to go through a third-party investigator and let that investigator do the interviews with the citizen, the employees, the department heads, whatever the case may be, and then bring it to the governing body, which includes the mayor, is for final determination as far as what is going to take place. State statute says that the city council has the final say on the department heads, not the mayor. There's nothing in the state statute that allows that mayor that authority. We have gone through this 3 times already, and we've had to come back and fix it because the state statute does not give that authority to the mayor. So that's all this policy is for. If the mayor says that it's taking it out of his hands, he doesn't have the authority anyway by state statute. So this is a moot point as far as I'm concerned, as far as his objection to this or this resolution.
And also, I mean, I think you know it, but just to clarify for people may miss it, what the actual discipline is not gonna be told, fed back to the citizen, because that's a personnel matter.
Right.
Yes.
So but you'll get some kind, we've addressed a problem, we understand there's a problem, we've addressed it, blah, blah. You're not gonna find out the guy was, whatever happened, 30 lashes or things like that, because that's personnel.
I mean, it could come from a letter of reprimand, it could come for days off without pay, up to termination. And if it's terminated, it's not gonna take people long to find out that employee's been terminated.
And so you said if it was a department head, it would be investigated by an outside source?
Yes, that's my opinion, that we as the governing body, state statute says we have final authority and say as far as what the discipline is. So how can we, as the governing body, do the investigation and then come up with some type of, I think it's up to that point for a third party to do that investigation, as we have these past several months. We have forwarded over to a third-party investigator several complaints, or whatever the cases may have been, to a third party, let them do an objective investigation. They don't have a dog in this hunt, and then come back to the governing body to say, this is what I found. Yes, it violated, you got 2 things. You either violated personnel policy, or you violated state law. Okay? If they come back and this allegation didn't violate a city policy or a state law, then I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. And that doesn't, whether it's a department head or whether it's a city employee, you have policies in place. That employee has to violate something with either in a state statute or a personnel policy before you can take action regardless. So, like I said, this doesn't take any power away from the mayor. It's where it's supposed to be with the governing body.
But the decision is made based on all the facts that were gathered, and it's
Yes,
based on facts, yeah, not just
yes,
hearsay.
yes.
It doesn't mean you can't counsel the person about, it's, you didn't violate a policy, didn't violate law.
Well, sure.
But, hey,
But
common
this
sense
is,
would say.
right, common sense says you wouldn't do this.
Sure.
That's generally called verbal counseling,
Yeah.
and that's quite often in police work.
Because like I said, up until this time, we've had no way really for citizens to file a complaint. and to follow it through so we have some type of documentation where it's gone and what it's done. So that's all this policy is for, or resolution was brought forth. That's all I have to say. Anybody else?
I don't know.
I think you pretty well covered what we talked about.
If so, I'll make a motion, we reconsider and approve resolution number R 2014-0310-01.
Got a motion on the table to approve item D, resolution 214-30310-101.
I'll second.
And second by Councilman Perkins. Okay, all in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, item E, discuss and consider necessary actions regarding resolution R 214-0310-02. A resolution by the City Council of the City of Italy, Texas, establishing council meetings, policy, and procedures, and providing an effective date. Requested by James Hobbs pursuant Section 52.003, paragraph C, Texas Local Government Code. Any discussion on this?
I don't see whether this resolution takes any powers away from the mayor that's not given to him by state statute.
Well, this, I'm not.
This is, hang on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is just so we can have some guidelines within our council meeting. In my opinion, sometimes, and it can get a little carried away, but tonight, we allowed discussion with our community. We already have policies in place that we could have shut that off at any time. But you know what? We didn't, because we care, I care, I'm speaking for myself, and I can't speak for these guys because I know they do. I care for what y'all have to say and your concerns. So, you know, A and B, whatever, B and C, whatever they were. We tabled that to get a little more information. So we allowed for that discussion, but at some point, we have to have some teeth to say, hey, we're done, we appreciate y'all's opinion, but, you know, we're going to move on, and so we're not here all night long. If y'all don't want to be here all night long, we want to be here to make good, proper decisions, but we don't want to be here all night long. But we want to give that time for y'all to voice those opinions. I don't think anybody here can ever say that we as a council have never let our citizens speak. Do we have to? No, we don't have to. We can give you your 3 minutes and ask you please sit down so we can carry on our business, but that's not what this is for. But it is to, there's some things in there when the citizens address their 3 minutes. You're to address the council. You're not to speak to an individual department head or employee or make statements back to the crowd. We want you to come up, speak your mind, tell us what problems you have, and then sit down so we can move on about our business.
I appreciate what you're saying, Rodney. This is one thing that I've noticed is when a citizen has comments, an agenda item is a little different, but when a citizen has comments, no offense to anybody, but there's no answer given. And in other words, if, other than tonight, I'll be honest with you, other than tonight, some answers were, you know, y'all kind of let us have open discussion, and I really, really appreciate that. But what I've seen is, like, let's say somebody does come up here with a legitimate concern about the city of Italy, and they bring it to the council. Okay, they're not on the agenda item to get something passed or not passed or whatever. But there's, you know, let's say that they have a question about something, and it might be a broad question, it might be a direct question. There's no answers given, and that's what frustrates a lot of citizens.
But on citizens' comments, we can't take action by law. We can't comment back. Now, sometimes we'll direct a department head, hey, that might be a legitimate concern. Would you please look into that for us? But for us to sit here and make a comment back to you just on an open, you're just the beginning of the meeting, it's not allowable.
Okay, I didn't know.
They can.
And if you go to city council meetings and a lot of larger, you'll get that, you'll understand what the way things were in citizen comments. And then the agenda items are made specifically for discussion up here. For these
Discussion and
guys.
consideration. Just-
For the city council to discuss it. Citizen comments is for, hey, I need to get something voiced to these guys, get it out to them, let them think about it, and like he said, Councilman Guthrie said, sometimes he directs us to, hey, get with citizens so on this later on, and find out how you can help them. That's what that's meant for.
So that's did that answer your question?
Yeah.
If I- If I may, one of the reasons that the citizens' comment were so interactive this time was because most of it was in regard to the street equipment, which is on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, it can be discussed. But if it's not on the agenda, it can't be discussed, not by law. So that's one reason that this time, the citizens' comments was more interactive, was because of that.
Also in this resolution was the moving the date up for y'all, for you, from Wednesday to Tuesday, to give more time for, agenda requests and everything.
And council packet preparation.
Well, I think there's too many laws.
Believe
I
me.
mean, I don't think for one second that not one soul in this seat, right, anywhere in this room, doesn't care about it. I don't think that for one second. And I think it should be an open type discussion thing. Now, I understand that there's a governing body, and I just wish, I guess personally, that we could have more discussions like that. I understand that that's not really allowable a lot of times or all the time.
Troy, have you ever been to like one of the school board meetings?
Oh,
I'm-
no,
I'm-
members in this commissioner's court.
I'm sad to say I do not go to the, I
What I'm
don't.
saying is they don't, you think, that anybody that's been to school board meeting, or the commissioner's court,
Commissioner's court staff.
that you don't, it has to be, it usually go by Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah, there has to be some more.
It has to be some kind of order. Not to just, well, we don't want y'all to talk, so we're gonna make up rules, keep you from talking. You can try to talk to Mr. Harper in his office, in the mayor's office, any time of the day, any time of the week. Go down over here and talk to him in his office. Sometimes, you can get an answer. Sometimes you can get an answer before you can get to the council, before he makes it to the council meeting.
There's not a councilman up here that's not approachable. And Troy, you come talk to me. I've had several people come talk to me. I may not can give you an answer right then, but I'm gonna give you my best opinion as far as how I think you need to handle it.
Yeah.
So, I've had many people come to the shop and talk to me, if you've got a problem. Like I said, I can't give you an answer right then, but I can tell you how to go, my best opinion, how to go about doing it. And that's at the cafe, I don't think anybody in this town will say I'm not approachable. So, like I said, this isn't to take anything away from anybody, it's like I said, it's just to give us a little more order to handle our business. Like I said, it's not that we're gonna stick to it, like I said, this is a discussion item, so y'all wanted some information, so we're trying to give you some information.
I believe that our
Probably getting y'all build into this where we address you, we don't address city employees, correct?
That, yes,
That's built in.
that is,
Okay.
you address us and the mayor
Yes,
during your comments, this turning to the employees and that's not proper, and that's not how it needs to be done. That's for the governing body to deal with that employee. You know, we've got a complaint process now. I mean, we're trying to put things into place to better keep this city running efficiently and doing the things that we need to do.
and the meeting's orderly.
Yes, and the meeting's orderly.
Yes.
I mean, we could have went through this agenda in probably about 30 minutes if we wanted to, but we've been here an hour and a half, and you know what, that's okay.
Thank you.
It's a lot of money we're talking about.
Sure.
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number R 2014-0310-02.
I second the motion.
I've got a first on the floor to, what'd you say, Dennis?
To adopt.
To adopt, to adopt resolution 2014-0310-02, a resolution of the city of Italy. This is about the council meeting policy and procedures. And I've got a second by who, Frank? Councilman Jackson seconded. All in favor? Unanimous. D, discuss and consider necessary actions regarding ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just did D.
Yeah, I was looking, I'm sorry, I'm on F. Discuss actions regarding ordinance number 2014-0310-01, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Italy, Texas, providing for a repeal of the existing personnel policies and adopt a new personnel policies, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, and providing an effective date. Requested by Mayor Hobbs, James Hobbs, pursuant the section 52.003, paragraph C, Texas Local Government Code. This is one of the things that I objected about, was that it puts 100% of the City of Italy Texas Policy and Procedure Manual, takes the powers away from the mayor and puts the powers in the hands of those who should not have those powers. And that was basically what I said a while ago. All these were from Ed Voss. So I don't know why he would put this in there if it wasn't applicable. But we just revised this, he just revised it back in September of last year. I think it was September, wasn't it? 12?
12.
Yeah, it was 12. And now all of a sudden, we've got all these changes. How many changes was in there? Does anybody know?
I can't say something, Mr. Hobbs?
Yeah, since Ms. Murdoch answered my question.
I'm sorry. What was it, was there a question?
Yes. How many changes did he make in here?
That I don't know. I don't know how many.
I've counted at least 6 pages of changes, if it was so far out of whack. Why didn't he catch this back in 2012? I mean, we're talking about a lot of changes. And when I went through it, it had a lot of the, scratches through where it gave the mayor his job duties, and now it puts it in the hands of the city council or their designee, and most of them go straight to the city administrator. We don't want or I, as a citizen, don't want this city run by one person and then by 5 or 6 once every 30 days. Do you have a question, Ron?
I'm gonna wait for you to finish, and
Okay.
I'll say what I gotta say.
So even our city attorney says it should not be this way. So that's all I got for right now. Councilman Guthrie?
Well, I was in the meeting where we had with the attorney, and I never heard him one time say that it shouldn't be this way. I had Mr. Voss look at our policy and procedure manual. Several things have changed. I don't know if it's changed over the years that was given to the mayor for powers for whatever reason. The mayor has his power set by state statute. None of these things in this policy and procedure manual, if it has to do with the mayor's powers that are given to him by state statute, were messed with. He still has his powers in this policy and procedure manual by state statute. The second thing is, not everything, there might have been only 1 or 2 things that were changed that said city administrator. Our department heads are equals. We do not have a city manager-based form of government. If we did, then we would have a different governing rule as far as how any of this stuff is handled or taking place. There were several policies that I suggested that we go in and give the department heads the power because it's governing their employees. Why should we as the governing body and or the mayor go in and tell a department head that we have hired and entrusted our trust in because we as a governing body don't know how to do their job? So we hire employees just like any corporation does. They hire the employees and task them to take care of the day-to-day business. If there are things or problems that come forth, then you come to the CEO, the governing body, which includes the mayor, to get further direction on how to handle a particular situation. So a lot of those policies and procedures were given to the department heads because that's where those need to be. I will say this, and it's going to upset Mr. Hobbs, I know, but some of the final authority needs to be put back on the city council. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, Mr. Hobbs has overstepped and abused some of these things that are in this policy manual. I understand, but right now I'm on the floor.
I didn't say you wasn't.
You
I just said-
can have your say whenever I'm done. Most of y'all have been to these city council meetings where we've had to go back in and correct things that the mayor has done that he doesn't even have state statute powers to do, much less give them the authority under the policy and procedure manual. So it's not our responsibility to inform the mayor what authorities he can and cannot do. I, as a council member, know what my authorities are based off state statute and based off the city policy. I think it's that individual responsibility to know what their state statute responsibilities and or policy and procedure rules, how they govern. So based off of, in my opinion, the misuse of power that this mayor has taken this last 8 months of office, I felt it at this point to put some of these final says back to the governing body, which is not one, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the mayor as a governing body, to have final say. I think that's better because you as citizens have put all of us up here, not just one. And we shouldn't just one have say over what final should take place. It should be the governing body, which does include the mayor. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I would like to say something. You know, you said that they take all your power away, and you said that the attorney said that it wasn't legal for us to do that. Well, you know, we addressed this several times with the attorney, and I never heard him say that. But there's a lot of things that you can still do, Mr. Hobbs. I mean, a lot of things you can still do as a mayor, you know? We wanna get the city going and, you know, and bring jobs and there's a lot of things that a mayor can do. I mean, these towns with city managers, you know, they leave time for the mayor to do other things. You know, it's not that somebody hates you or, nobody hates you.
I didn't say
You know,
anything.
but there are things that you can do as mayor still in the city of Italy that would be a help to the citizens. That's all.
Okay. Okay, when I objected to this, I called Mr. Voss, and I said I want to object to this per the state statutes. And this is exactly what he wrote back to me, put it in those words.
What's that?
What I said a while ago.
I mean, I'm just saying, I mean,
This takes 100% of the mayor's powers. This is Ed talking now, not me.
okay.
Ed's talking for me as our city attorney, to me.
This is important, Terry. Do you have Ed's phone number? Do you have his phone?
Well, don't you have a copy of what Ed?
No, I'm saying
what
she can talk to him and he can address us as.
No, we don't need to do that.
Well, I mean, this is important to you, Mr. Hobbs.
It is important to me, but I've got it in writing what
Under,
the
I'm sorry,
the city attorney.
But I'm
Do
saying,
you have the copies that, you have the copies?
I have a
of those
copy
three
of it.
You got those three?
Everybody does.
We have a copy of it. But you're saying, he said that's not right.
Oh, a copy of this?
Yes, sir. What I'm saying is, Mr. Hobbs,
Is mine different from yours?
no, sir, it's very important to you as a mayor to make sure that you're not being, you know, railroad or whatever you wanna call it. He has, he had a problem today with his car, and I heard that he told Terry that he would have his phone with him if we needed to talk to him.
Okay, but I don't feel the need to talk to him. Not.
But you're saying that he's,
You've
okay,
got a copy of it right there. Is this true?
yes, sir, I do have a copy of that. But what I'm saying is that,
can I make a comment? Can I make a
sure,
comment?
go ahead.
Yes, Mayor, under statute, let me find it. I won't misquote. Under state statute 52.003 C, the mayor does have the authority not to sign any resolution and or ordinance that is passed by this council. Under this statute, it basically states that he can bring it back before the council for reconsideration. And he can bring back before the council why he thinks it needs to be reconsidered. Okay? In my conversations with Ed, my personal conversations, he has never told me one time that he has a feeling or a personal opinion as far as what has taken place. All Ed can do is bring us the information as far as what we can and can't do. It's not Ed's job to give a personal opinion as far
That's
as,
all Ed does is give us opinions.
not personal opinions.
No,
He gives us
personal-
legal
he gives
opinions
legal
as far as
opinions.
what we can and can't do. This ordinance that we're trying to pass does not take away any powers assessed to the mayor by state statute. He's got that power.
Yes.
This, what he's talking about under the state statute 5.003, if the mayor does not believe that the ordinance or the resolution is proper, for whatever reason, legalities, personal opinion, whatever it may be, he can bring it back before the council, which he is doing tonight. And then it's for the council to reconsider the new information that's brought forward and make a determination of whether we want to pass the ordinance or not pass the ordinance, based off of the new information which he is gonna bring to us tonight. That's what that statute says. And that's what Ed told him. I'm done.
Thank you. Okay, is there any more discussion on this?
Make a motion, we pass ordinance number 2014-0310-01.
Okay, Councilman Guthrie puts on the table to pass ordinance 2014-0310-01.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Perkins. All approved? Unanimous? Okay. Councilman comments? You got anything else, Rodney?
No, I think, I've informed everybody of my opinions and as far as what we're doing.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councilman Richards? Councilman Ellie?
I just think all the citizens come out tonight and their opinion, we really appreciate them coming out and letting us know how the city and what they're expecting. I just thank them for doing that.
Councilman Perkins?
As Bruce said, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I just have a small thought, just something I was taught growing up by my late grandfather, who was my pastor. But one thing that he'd always point out, you know, the Bible says in all things get an understanding. And I think that's a lot of what's going on, you know, here in this town. There's so many rumors, so much he say, she say, you know, but if you find your brother, sister in a fault, you should go to him. I mean, go ask. A lot of times we get bashed so many times that, you know, we hate Mr. Hobbs. I don't hate Mr. Hobbs. Joan, I want to see Christ one day, so I can't see Christ with hating Mr. Hobbs. So, I mean, that's not true for me. But a lot of times we go off things because, you know, we don't have an understanding. Let's get an understanding. Let's go to those people. You know, those people who we should address. If we got a question to ask, go to those people, approach those people. Let's stop just talking and putting stuff out in the air. I mean, that's all I have to say. You know?
Thank you, Councilman Perkins. Councilman Jackson?
No, I don't have anything, Mr. Hobbs.
I do. I'm gonna concur with Councilman Perkins. There's not anybody in this town that I believe that hates anybody. I don't believe any of these 5 people up here hate. And I concur with what Dennis says. We've all got to go one day. There's a lot of people that have a lot of different opinions, and that's one of the things that our servicemen have fought for, is our freedom to meet like we're doing, and for local government to do what we're doing, state government to do what they do, and then the Congress do what they gotta do. So I think we do have the best system in the world. And I just appreciate everybody being here and coming out. And all our service people that do protect our freedoms. Anybody else got anything?
No, sir.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 7:50.